Testing. Testing. Om Shri Padmatmani Namaham. Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Sunday morning satsang this beautiful February 13th, 2022. Before we commence with our prayers for today, devotees, I ask that you all join together with me as we sing this very beautiful bhajan. As we say, O Bhagwan, we are blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Please grant us with the light of wisdom so that we can follow the correct path of life. आज अंधेरे में हमारे इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दिए भगवान आज अंधेरे में हमारे इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दिए भगवान भगवान राधिका ढे भक्त खरे हमारा अधिकार है भगवान राधिका ढे कर्म कर्म पर किरण बिचारे भगवान किरण बिचारे इन अखियन को प्रभु करारे इन अखियन को प्रभु करा दे ज्योति से पहचान ज्योति से पहचान आज अंधेरे में हमारे इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान संतान तिहारे प्रभु संतान तिहारे हम तो संतान तिहारे प्रभु संतान तिहारे तेरे दया के हम अधिकारे प्रभु है हम अधिकारे दुनिया सुखी हमारे दुनिया सुखी हमारे ए सारे वरदान ए सारे वरदान आज अंधेरे में है हमारे इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका रे भगवान आज अंधेरे में है हमारे इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान At this time, devotees, I ask that you join together with me as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Block out this physical world around you. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, relax your shoulders, your neck, your forehead, relax your entire body. With your body in a comfortable position and your eyes closed, take some time now, devotees, to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that'll help you concentrate. And join together with me as we chant our opening prayers. Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishasyam Miram Sarvam Yakincha Jagatyam Jana Dinitakdin Bhunjeta Magrudhakasya Swadhanam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. I ask that you join together with me now, devotees, as we continue with our prayers and chanting the most powerful mantra in this universe, as we join together in chanting the Gayatri Mantra. Om Manakshi Varde Devi Akshare Brahmavadini Gayatri Jagat Matar Vishwayoni Namostute Om Bhure Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Om Bhure Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Om Bhure Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Prem Gayatri Mata Ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to that remover and destroyer of all obstacles in our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Gangadapati Namaham Om Jananam Bhuta Ganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palachara Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarikam Namami Viganeshwara Pada Pankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigaram Kurme Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Ganadhaksha Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Kartha Tanata Bhava Bhavaranavar Om Shriman Mahaganadhipate Namah Prem Se Bolo Ganesh Bhagwan Ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers, we offer obediences to that mother of knowledge and learning in this universe, that mother of wisdom, that mother who provides us with clarity of mind to make the good choices that we need to in life, that mother who helps us turn knowledge into wisdom so we know how to live appropriately. We offer praise to Mother Saraswati. Om Maha Saraswati Namaham Om Saraswati Mahabhagi Vidye Kamala Luchine Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidyam Nehi Namostute Om Saraswati Namastobhyam Varare Kamarupini Udhyarambham Karishyami Siddhiram Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhiram Bhavatu Me Sada Om Maha Saraswati Namaham Om Prem Saraswati Mata Ki Jai. We next offer prayers, devotees, to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life, that mother that exists in multiple forms, multiple emotions, and multiple states for us to worship. We offer prayers to Adi Shakti Durga Mata. Om Mahadurgaye Namaham Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute, Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde, Jai Putharatini Haradini, Jai Saravagate Devi, Kale Ratri Namostute, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Vishnu Maiti Shabdita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Buddhi Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Lakshmi Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Shakti Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Shraddha Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Shanti Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Tushti Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Dhaya Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah. As we pray to Mother Durga devotees, O Durga Mata, Thou art the universal mother and the supporter of all, and we, your children, worship you in many forms. O Ma, we see you as a Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, and Daya, compassion. And as we pray to you, O Ma, Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha. As we pray to you, O Ma, we bow to thee again and again. Devotees, we continue on by offering prayers to Mother Durga in the form of the Universal Mother, Matri Rupe. Ya Devi Sarvam Bhuteshu, Matri Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namah, Dehi Samhagyam Arogyam, Dehi Me Paramam Sukham, Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi, Yesho Dehi Dvesho Jahi. Om Prem Bolo Shakti Durga Mata Ki Jai. We now offer prayers of devotees to the most influential beings in our life. Those beings that affect the name that we're given, the temperament that we carry, those beings that affect when and when we cannot perform certain rituals and things within our daily lives. We join together as we offer prayers to the Navgraha Devata, also referred to as the Nine Planets. Om Navgraha Devataya Namaham Brahma Murari Tripuranta Pari Bhanu Shishi Bhumi Suto Buddhascha Guruscha Shukra Shanirahu Ketuvam Sarve Graha Shanti Karam Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Karam Bhavantu. As we continue on with our prayers to the Navgraha Devata, with today being Sunday, also known as Ravivar, we join together as we offer prayers to that being that exists in the form of the sun and that sustainer of all life on this planet. We join together as we offer prayers to Surya Narayan Bhagwan. Om Suryaya Namaha, 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 Suryaya Namaha. Adideva Namastubhyam Prasiddha Mama Bhashkaram Devakar Namastubhyam Prabhakar Namostude. Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha. Om Prem से बोलो नवग्रह देवता की जय, प्रेम से बोलो सूर्य नारायण भगवान की जय। As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to that sustainer of all things dharmic and all things righteous in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnuve Namaha. Om Shantankaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gaganitsadrisham Meghavardhanam Shubhangam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalinayanam Yogi Dhyanagam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatam Om Sashankha Chakram Sakirita Kundhalam Sapita Vastram Sarasirudeshanam Saharavala Vakshastala Shobhikostubha Shriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Om Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. And finally, devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru, as we offer prayers to that destroyer of all evils on our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Harapuram Horam Harunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sarasantam Hirdayardavane Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Shiva Hare Shiva Rama Saki Prabhu Drivardha Panivarane Vibhu Ajijinishwarya Navapai Mam Shiva Hare Vijayam Gurumevaram Kamalalochana Ramanayanidhi Har Guru Vajarakshaka Gopati Shivatano Bhava Shankar Pai Mam Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Swanaranjana Mangala Mandiram Majatite Purusha Paramam Param Bhavati Tasya Sukam Paramadbhutam Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Jaya Yudhishthira Vallabha Bhupati Jaya Jaya Rajita Punyo Bhayo Nidhi Jaya Kripamaya Krishna Namostute Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Bhava Vimochana Madhava Mapati Sukha Vimana Sahansa Shivarati Janaka Jarata Raghava Rakshamam Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Avani Mandala Mangala Mapati Jhalada Sundhara Ramar Mapati Nighama Kirti Gunarnava Gopate Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Patita Pavana Nama Mailata Tava Yasho Vimalam Pringhiyate Dhanapi Madhavamam Kimupakshate Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurumevaram Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Amarta Paradevaramapate Jayatastavanamaganupama Maikatam Karunaranavajayate Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Hanumatam Priyatapakaram Prabhu Surasadrita Sikharahi Guru Manavibhava Kim Smaranam Kritam Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Narhari Ratiranjana Sundharam Patatiya Shiva Rama Vatasnavam Vishati Rama Ramacharananam Bhunje Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Shivam Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru me varam. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Devotees, we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask that they have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer a prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. May the passage be a smooth and tranquil. Om Dharma Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityur Mukshyo Mamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityur Mukshyo Mamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityur Mukshyo Mamrutat. Om Ganganapati Namaha. Om Kartikeya Namaha. Om Nandishwaraya Namaha. Om Vasukiya Namaha. Om Shri Sambasara Shivaya Namaha. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankara Bhagwan ki Jai. Devotees, once again, I'd like to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording a very beautiful bhajan for us to listen to here live during our Sunday morning satsangs. Uncle Walter will have a few words in honor of the late Lata Mangeshkar, which were very beautiful because I did listen to it already. So again, to Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani, thank you so much for recording that bhajan and sending it in for us to listen to. We'll move up on over to listen to that, and then we'll continue on, devotees, with our sermon.
Srimati Lata Mangeshkar recently passed away. She was one of the world's greatest singers and hold the Guinness Book of Record for more than 30 songs of all kinds in many languages. The world will miss her. I will sing the last song she have done 2 years ago, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varedyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yo nah prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yo nah prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yo nah prachodayat. Om Trayambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva vandana Mrityurmukshiyamamrita. Om Trayambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva vandana Mrityurmukshiyamamrita. Om Trayambakam yajamahi Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva vandana Mrityurmukshiyamamrita. Prabhu tero naam jo dhyaye phal paaye sukalaye tero naam. Prabhu tero naam jo dhyaye phal paaye sukalaye tero naam. Teri daya ho jaye to data. Teri daya ho जाए तो दाता. जीवन धन मिल जाए मिल जाए मिल जाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम. जो ध्याए फल पाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम. तू दानी तू अंतरयामी तेरी कृपा हो जाए तो स्वामी. हर बिगड़ी बन जाए हर बिगड़ी बन जाए. प्रभु तेरो नाम जो ध्याए पल पाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम. बस जाए मोरा सोना अंगना खिल जाए मोरा कुर्जा कंगना. जीवन में रस आए जीवन धन मिल जाए मिल जाए मिल जाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम. जो ध्याए पल पाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम. प्रभु तेरो नाम जो ध्याए पल पाए सुख लाए तेरो नाम.
Once again, I'd like to thank Uncle Walter Natisarani for sending in that very beautiful bhajan for us to listen to as we continue on with our virtual Sunday morning services. Devotees, if you would like to record something and send it in for us to listen to, you are more than welcome to do so. You can either record a bhajan, if you have a dance, maybe some words of wisdom, words of advice, or words from our scriptures. Maybe just a quick hello to all. Does not matter what you need to record. You can record that and send that in. You can email it to me at shivshaktimandirga@gmail.com. Again, that's shivshaktimandirga@gmail.com. gmail.com. You're more than welcome to give me a call or our president a call if you have anything, and that way we can figure out how you can get it to us so we can upload it live for all of us to listen to. But again, if you would like to do anything, you're more than welcome to. But again, always thank you to Uncle Walter and Cicerani for continuously and being very diligent in recording and sending something in every week. Devotees, as we continue with our prayers, and before we continue with our sermon for today, for those of us who have a guru, we join together as we offer a prayer to our guru. If not, we take Lord Shiva in our mind, or any deva you so choose as your universal guru, as we join together in prayer. Om Gurura Brahma Gurura Vishnu Gurura Deo Maheshwara Gurura Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murati Puja Moolam Gurur Param Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripar Prem Se Guru Guru Dev Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Shrimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Shrimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Shrimad Bhagavatam Puran Shri Bhagavatam Shrimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Shrimad Bhagavatam Puran Bhagavatam Puran Shrimad Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. Devotees, last week as we continued on with our sermon in the Srimad Bhagavat Puran, we had just completed chapter 7 of book 1, in which Vyasadeva was having a very wonderful conversation with Narad about his life, the goals he should be attempting, and the things that he needed to do. And at the end of chapter 6, Narad Muni took his departure from the residence of Vyasadeva, leaving him with some very powerful words of advice and some very strong words of wisdom. As we continue on further, devotees, we enter chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavat Puran, of book 1, known as the son of Drona punished. That's the title of the chapter. When it comes to reading the Srimad Bhagavat Puran, devotees, there's going to be some chapters that are very, very heavy to undertake and understand. And I want to let you know ahead of time that chapter 7 is one of them. Because we're going to be talking about something and a concept that we're not familiar with, which again is punishment, and how that punishment came to be for the son of Drona. As we start off chapter 7, Shri Saunaka, who is speaking with Sutta Goswami in the forest with the great sages, says, after the departure of Narad Muni, what did the great Lord Vyasadeva do, having heard from the great sage what he wanted to know? Sutta Goswami looked at him, he looked at the rest of the sages in the forest, and he replied, on the western bank of the Saraswati, where sages meditate, there is an ashram for the promotion of transcendental activities. There's a place that's religious. It's like a a conduit for spiritual energy. There's a very holy, sacred place for people to promote transcendental activities. There, Vyasadeva sat down, in his hermitage surrounded by berry trees, to focus his mind after he had performed his water sacrifice. With his mind connected in the devotion of yoga, he saw, free from material concerns, perfectly being fixed, the complete of both the original person, Purusha, and the external energy that depends on him. The living entities, bewildered because of the conditions of their bodies by the qualities of the nature, take, despite their transcendental position, things not wanted for granted, and undergo the reactions thereof. So he's saying here that Vyasadeva learned what he needed to do. He needed to focus mind solely on Bhagwan and not on the material gains of the world by spreading the word of God. And spreading the word of God, that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting blessings, because that's not how reading from the scriptures works, and that's not how reading the scriptures works. Unless you're truly devoted and living by those words, devotees, then it's kind of fruitless. It's like you trying to read a cookbook. You go through all the steps, understand everything, how to make a recipe, and then you decide, you know what, I'm just going to throw everything in the pot and hope for the best. Maybe it'll come out okay, but it won't come out exactly how it was intended to. So he took the time to detach himself from the world, sit down and understand what he needed to do, focused on Bhagwan, solely on Bhagwan, not what it would bring to him, and he was able to see Bhagwan. In verse 5, it says that the living entities, bewildered because of the conditioning of their bodies by the qualities of nature, take things not wanted for granted and undergo the reactions thereof. We take things not wanted for granted and undergo reactions thereof. What does that mean? It means that we are bewildered by things around nature. Despite our transcendental position, despite our position in this world and life, we take things that are not wanted for granted. Not wanted is, or not needed, I should say, is material possessions of this world. And we take those for granted, and we undergo the reactions thereof. We react towards those things that we don't take for granted. For the common man who does not know that in the yoga of devotion unto him in the beyond, all that is unwanted finds its end, the sage compile the different stories relating to the absolute truth. Simply listening to this literature about the Supreme Personality of Krishna will give rise to one's personal devotion that takes away lamentation, illusion, and fear. After having arranged that collection of stories about the Supreme Lord, the sage taught it to his son Sukha, engaged in the path of self-realization. So he detached from the world. He finished compiling the stories that he needed to of Bhagwan, and then he educated his son Sukha in the path of self-realization. He taught his son everything he needed to know that he had to learn along the way. He got rid of everything because he took it too much for granted as to how much his life was dependent on it, and focused on Bhagwan. So we know he retired out, finished what he needed to do, and then educated his son to continue on with those teachings and the path of self-realization. He didn't just teach his son the words of Bhagwan, he taught him how to live by them. Saunaka now asks, because he wants to know a little bit more, why would he, always on the path of self-realization, being contented within and indifferent, engage in such a vast study? So if you're already self-realized, why would you continue to study? If you already know the answers, why would you continue to research? And for any scholar out there, they can tell you that education and learning is not just a thing that you do as a fun pastime. There's this hunger for knowledge, a hunger for wisdom. We can never know enough. Sometimes we can know too much about something because we're not diversifying ourselves. So a person who is already on the path of self-realization, he's asking, why would they engage in more studying if they already know how to detach from the world? Sutta Goswami smiled and he said, such are his wonderful qualities that even sages, freed from all bondage and taking pleasure in the soul, are of pure devotional service unto Vishnu, Krama, the Lord of the Great Steps. The powerful son of Vyasa, Sukha, is beloved by the devotees because he, in having taken upon the regular study of this great narration, was always absorbed in the transcendental quality of the Supreme Lord. Just because he continued to study does not mean he lost his faith or his focus on what he needed to do. Yes, he was a self-realized person, but he still understood that with self-realization does not mean that I have been fulfilled. Fulfillment comes when I attain moksha, when I leave this world. But as long as I'm still here, I still have to continue to do work. That is my duty. That is my responsibility. Just because you own a home doesn't mean you stop working. You still have to pay your mortgage. You still have to pay your utilities. You still have to upkeep the house. Just because you have a car doesn't mean you have to shirk your responsibilities of driving, getting gas, doing your mileage services, changing your oil. There's so many things in this world that just because we have it doesn't mean we should give up or not focus on any further or attain for greater perfection. Sutta Goswami says, I shall now tell you the story about the birth activities and the deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage among the kings, as also the story about how the son of the Pandu came to renounce the world. These stories lead to the stories about Lord Krishna. So what we're going to dive into now, devotees, and again, it's very thick that what we're digging into, is sections and segments of the Srimad Mahabharata war. Mahabharata is a great text. It talks about the entirety of the war. But we're going to talk about something very specific from it. And this is something outside of the conversation from Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Arjuna in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What we have here is not the discussion between them as they're in the middle of the battlefield, but a discussion between the two as they leave the battlefield. But there's something that happens before that. In verses 13 and 14 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, it says, when on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the warriors of the Pandavas in the Kauravas had found their heroic fate, and the son of the king, Duryodhan, was lamenting his broken thigh bones due to being beaten by the club of Bhima, thought that he could please his master Duryodhan by delivering the heads of the sleeping sons of Draupadi as a trophy. But the master disapproved his heinous act. He did not care for this heinous act. He wasn't looking for this. The best way to describe this is that the son of Raja Dhastara, Duryodhan, he was trying to do something that, okay, how do I phrase this? He was doing something to please his father. He was doing something to please something materially, something physically. Duryodhan, essentially, was trying to satisfy the senses, gratify the senses. And that's something that we don't need to do, because what we learn of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and all the other scriptures is that we shouldn't do anything to please anybody else. We should do stuff to attain the Lord. And we're not necessarily pleasing Bhagwan. We're keeping him in devotional service. Remember, there's a difference between trying to make somebody happy and just doing it selflessly for the right reason. So the king, the king didn't want this. His father didn't approve of the same. It wasn't something that he was looking for. He wanted to win the war, but not necessarily with the most vile ways possible. So he tried to deliver the heads of the sleeping sons of Draupadi as a trophy. The master disapproved. The mother of the children of the Pandavas cried aggrieved, bitter tears when she heard about the massacre. She was not happy about this. It wasn't, I mean, there's a difference between a battle and her in this instance, what we're learning here, and what we deem as a heinous act. This wasn't about winning the war. This wasn't about winning the battle. This was about pleasing somebody. And he tried to please somebody through bloodshed. And we've learned through many stories that's not appropriate. Arjuna saw the distress of the mother of the Pandavas and tried to pacify her. He said, I can only wipe the tears from your eyes, my dearest, when the head of that degraded Brahmin aggressor is severed by the arrows of my bow, Gandhaiva. I will present it to you so that you can place it on your foot, taking it a bath after the cremation of your sons. So to pacify the mother, Arjuna made a promise that he would bring her the head of the person who took the lives of the children of the Pandavas. which is very intense. Again, not something we necessarily go into when we read the scriptures. When we read the Sri Ram Charitamanas, we hear about battles and fights, but we normally talk about the glories of Bhagwan. Same thing in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We talk about the conversation about Arjuna, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, and how we need to live our lives. But here we're hearing more about what Arjuna has to do. Remember, Arjuna's duty is as a warrior, as a protector, as a maintainer of righteousness. So his duty at this point in time was to bring the head of the slayer to the mother of the Pandavas, satisfying her with his choice of words. Arjuna, with the infallible one as his driver and friend, fully armed and equipped, ascended his chariot to pursue Aswatthama, the son of his martial teacher. When he, from a distance, saw him in hot pursuit, the child murderer, fearing for his life, fled with his chariot in great speed, just like Brahma did when he fled from Lord Shiva. A very different story between Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Vishnu at the beginning in the creation of time. Finding himself unprotected the moment his horses got tired, Aswatthama, the Brahman's son, for his defense resorted to the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra. When looking through the Mahabharata, there was a series of great weapons divine by God, weapons that had the power to conquer heaven, earth, and hell as it saw fit. And there were certain members of the war who had weapons such as this. Aswatthama was one of them, Arjuna was another. So for his defense, he resorted to that ultimate weapon. Now keep in mind, an ultimate weapon has ultimate repercussions as well, for everybody involved and for all those around. With his life in danger, he touched the water and concentrated to recite the mantras, even though he did not know how to stop the process. Again, consequences. An extremely powerful weapon ordained by Bhagwan. Once you start it, you can't stop it. And it's something that could quell everyone and anyone in its path. Arjuna saw a life-threatening, fiercely glaring light spreading all directions, whereupon he turned to Bhagwan Shri Krishna and said, "O Krishna, hey Krishna, you are the Almighty One who takes away the fears of the devotees. You alone are the path of liberation for those who suffer in their material existence. You are the transcendental, original enjoyer and direct controller of the material energy. You are the one who, with the bliss and knowledge of yourself, by means of your internal potency, puts an end to the material illusion. From that position, you, in the heart of the conditioned souls, exercise the blessings of your influence that is characterized by Dharma and the other civil virtues. Thus you incarnate in order to take away burden from earth and to satisfy your friends and pure devotees as constant object of their meditation, O Lord of all lords. I do not know where this highly dangerous, dazzling light, spreading in all directions, comes from." The Supreme Lord looked at Arjuna. He stated, "Know that this is caused by the son of Drona, who, faced with his pending death, launched the Brahmastra without knowing how to retract it. He decided to use his ultimate weapon, not knowing the consequences, or not even thinking about the consequences, because he's in a panic state of mind. Nothing else can counter this weapon but another one. You will have to fight the immense glare of this weapon with your martial art by engaging the power of your own weapon." Sutta said to the entire sage group that he was speaking with, after hearing what the Supreme Lord said, the killer of the other warrior, Arjuna, sipped water himself while circumambulating the Lord and launched his Brahmastra. He decided to launch his ultimate weapon. The biggest takeaway that I want you to understand from hearing this so far, devotees, because we're only halfway through, the next half of this is going to be extremely heavy, and I want you to be prepared for that, and we're not going to get into that today. And when I say heavy, it's going to take a very big mental toll on you, because there's a lot that you're going to have to think about with what's being said by Bhagwan Shri Krishna in the next few verses. But the important thing that you need to understand here is that the son of Drona at this point in time was panicking so much because of a heinous act he committed that he decided to do something that would cause even more chaos and more destruction in the world. Because he didn't take time to think about his initial actions or the actions that he's performing now. No matter what situation you're in, if you approach it with a panic mind, the decisions you make will not be the best. We all know that from any perspective in life. if you do not remain calm when you take an action, you're going to regret the outcome of what happens next. We see this time and time and again when we're all arguing with somebody else, whether it be something related to personal affairs, finances, something related to maybe something that happened at temple, something that somebody said at a party. It doesn't matter. Once we lose our senses, our tongue becomes very, very loose, and we say things that weren't intended to be said. We lash out and we create situations that intensify and are worse over time. And it causes us to break bonds with people. It causes us to sever relationships. It causes us to create additional chaos and danger and destruction in our lives and the lives of others. And that is exactly what the son of Drona did. He did something that he wanted to do to please his father, not because it was his duty, but because he wanted to get a physical sense of fulfillment from somebody that he respected. And that was the wrong thing to do. And after he did that, now he has to suffer the consequences of Arjuna coming to fight him, the greatest warrior of the Pandavas coming to fight him. And in that instance, in his chaos and the wrong choices that he made, he continues to go down this domino effect of creating wrong choices. Don't be like the son of Drona. What I want you all to understand is that when you're in a dire situation, when you're in a situation where you're panicking, or if the situation becomes really intense, the easiest thing for you to do is to take a deep breath and step away from it. There's nothing wrong with walking away. Because sometimes walking away is the right thing. Now, I'm not saying turn a blind eye on a bad situation. If it's a situation you're involved in, let's say you're getting into a heated argument with somebody else, take a breath and walk away. You can always come back and talk to them about it later. But don't make that mistake of creating chaos and destruction, which leads to more chaos and destruction, which leads to more chaos and destruction. That is what we need to interpret. That's what we need to understand from this first half of chapter 7 from book 1 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. Prem se bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. At this time, devotees, I ask that you join together with me now, as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, your shoulders, relax your neck, your forehead. Make sure your entire body is relaxed. With your body relaxed and your eyes closed, go ahead and take some time to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus, and join together with me, devotees, as we chant our closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Pururam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Tukabhag Bhave, Om Mantrinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam, Yatya Pujatam Maya Neva Paripuranam Tarastu Me, Vapoham Papu Karamaham, Papu Atma Papu Sambhava, Trahimam Pundari Kaksham Sarva Papu Haru Hari, Om Tvameva Madhascha Pitha Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Om Asatoma Siddhamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityuma Mritam Yamaya, Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Dhya Shantir, Antariksham Shantir, Prithvi Shantir, Apa Shantir, Aushadaya Shantir, Vanaspati Shantir, Vishwadeva Shantiram Brahma Shantir, Sarvegam Shantir, Shantireva Shanti Sama, Shantiredhi, Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om Tatsat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki जय. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki jay. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki jay. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jay. Prem se bolo Navgraha Devata ki jay. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki jay. Prem se bolo Shiva Shakti Mandir ki jay. Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki jay. Devotees, with this, we've come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today as we continue to perform our virtual Sunday morning services. I just want to take some time to run through a few announcements in regards to our calendar. Please to note that this month we have one other celebration that we will be joining in together, and that is going to be on Monday, February 28th. That is known as Mahashivratri Puja. Again, Mahashivratri is on Monday, February 28th. I have spoken with our president about it, and just for the month of February, we will be continuing to do things virtually. So our Shivratri Puja will occur virtually live here on our YouTube channel on Monday night. The time is still being determined because my family and I have to work that out with our schedules in terms of work and the dogs and everything else going on and doctor's appointments. So next week we will have a defined time for you all for when we will be starting our virtual service. But on Monday, February 28th, we will be performing our Mahashivratri Puja virtually, just to let you all know that. Come March, there's a number of celebrations that we have. First and foremost, Daylight Savings Time is occurring in March, but more importantly, on Thursday, March 17th, will be the burning of Holika. And again, that's information only. We may have that at the Mandir, we may not. We'll let you know about that in a few coming weeks here. Friday, March 18th marks the period of Holi, Holika, Pagwa, for all of you who want to know that. So again, that is Friday on March 18th. But its celebration and all the worships and everything we do won't occur until Sunday, March 20th. Again, that is Sunday, March 20th is when we will be celebrating Holi. But just know that the actual date for Pagwa or Holi is on Friday, March 18th. Devotees, I do want to let you know that, again, we are performing our Shivratri Puja virtually. However, as we denote, and as I've seen from a hospital perspective as well, the peak for our COVID from the Omicron variant has already hit a few weeks ago, and now we're starting to see the numbers come down pretty significantly, where we're probably about less than half of the peak numbers that we saw back at the end of January, mid to end January. So with that being said, we are feeling comfortable with how things are trending, and we will be preparing to start our in-person services back here in the beginning of March in 2022. So Sunday, March 6th, tentatively, will be our first in-person service back at our Mandir in Norcross. So for those of you who are willing to join, you are more than welcome to come. We will still have some COVID and you know, just some protocols in place, such as wearing masks, having hand sanitizer present for those who want to come up and perform puja, and making sure that we're cleaning things between uses like microphones and different kinds of instruments. So as we prepare for that, we will be having some more COVID protocols, you know, social distancing, making sure that we're all sitting far enough apart but close enough together to be able to worship. But we will be meeting back in person at the beginning of March, again, tentatively. I don't want to give us too much definitive answers until we get there, but the numbers are trending down. They are looking good for us, so we would like to open up the Mandir back in March. So again, Sunday, March 6th, we will be opening up the Mandir back up tentatively to have our in-person services again, which means that all of our religious events we will be having together as well. So again, just keep a lookout for your emails. We'll give you all some updates on that. Tune into here. We'll give you some more details on that. Just to let you all know, just because we're going to from virtual to in-person does not mean that the virtual services will end. I'm going to work with a few other folks to try to get our computer, our cameras, and everything set up at the Mandir, so that way you all can still join with us virtually. Just know that the services, when we go back into Mandir, will be 2 hours long instead of a 1 hour service. So virtual services will not end ever. Just to let you all know that, unless there's some technical issue, they will never end. However, they will be longer, and we will try to get things set up as best as we can. Just know that first virtual service that we may have on Sunday the 6th may be a little choppy, because it'll be our first time trying it out with an audience, but just bear with us as we go into that. As we continue on some further announcements, I do want to say Jai Sita Ram to Geeta Samuel, who is in the chat, to Auntie Zandra, Jai Sita Ram to you as well, and to Sister Priya, who says Sita Ram Pandit, and everyone, beautiful message. Looking forward to hearing the rest. Thank you so much, Sister Priya, and to you, Brother Tony and the kids, Jai Sita Ram, and we enjoy having you all here as we continue to perform our virtual Sunday morning services. Last announcements I want to make, devotees, and just because it's always a nice thing to end on, are some birthdays for this month. There was a few folks who celebrated their birthday this week, and I want to make sure I capture everybody in order. So first and foremost, to my big Pua, my Beti Pua, she celebrated her birthday on February 9th. A very happy birthday to you, Pua. To Sheena Jagnarayan, she celebrated her birthday on the 11th of this month. So Sheena, very happy birthday to you as well. To my mother-in-law, Pinder Naidu, very happy birthday to her. She also celebrated her birthday on the 11th. So to my mother-in-law, to Mom, happy birthday to you. And then today we have a good number of people who are celebrating their birthdays. So first and foremost to young Roxanne, who I haven't seen in 2 years and I do miss. Very happy birthday to you, Roxanne. We hope you are celebrating and having a wonderful day. To my brother Rich, who's the son of Sister Nanda, he's celebrating his birthday today. So Rich, to you, very, very happy birthday. And finally to Uncle Ramesh Prasad, who's celebrating his birthday today. I also call him Uncle Buddy. Very happy birthday to you, Uncle Ramesh. We hope that all three of you have a very wonderful, happy, healthy day filled with love, joy, and plenty of surprises along the way. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody else. It looks like we have some people celebrating their birthdays tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. So with that being said, devotees, I have no other birthdays to announce and honestly no other announcements for you all for today. Again, I want to thank you for joining with us and continuing to support us as we continue on with our virtual Sunday morning services, hoping that we can all be together come the beginning of March. Again, we're going to try to get many things set up and yeah, I mean, other than that, you all have a safe, happy, healthy week. It's supposed to be wonderful this week, with the exception of Thursday here in Georgia, a lot of rain. So, enjoy the week, enjoy the weather, enjoy the sun, stay happy, stay healthy, and remember to continue to check on each other. And thank you again for tuning in and continuing to support us as we continue to do our virtual Sunday morning service. Thank you again. Jai Sita Ram.